Hi, welcome to the archaeology at Marham Park. I'm Mike Green, I'm the lead archaeologist for this project. We've been excavating the entire site for over a couple of months. This is the second phase of archaeology that we've been doing at Marham Park. Our first phase we've done multiple open days for already. Some of you have been to those and you might remember what we looked at before. So on this phase we've had a continuation of the Roman archaeology, also our Iron Age archaeology and our Bronze Age droveway and burnt mound systems. What we're looking at the moment is our second burnt mound in our second phase of works. As you can see behind me, we're currently excavating our second burnt mound. The team are currently working on looking into the well sequence that we have here. You can also see the cobbled surface and also the extent of the feature, which is shown by the yellow flags. The finds generally, what we've been getting on this excavation phase is quite similar to what we had previously on phase one. We've found animal bone, Roman pottery, prehistoric pottery, as well as flint tools. Within this feature behind me, we are finding mostly flint tools and Bronze Age pottery. There's a lot less material coming out of this burnt mound feature than the last one. We've found about 25 flint tools out of it in comparison to the 300 which we found on the previous one. This shows that this is a smaller level of activity than our previous excavations. As you can see behind me, there's grid pegs with the yellow caps on. This is so we can excavate this feature in small squares. This helps us identify the finds that are coming out from each area, so we can tell if someone is producing something on a certain location of this feature. You will also see behind me that we are currently got a nice pink string running up. This is so we can look at the section and how the pit has actually filled in. This tells us information about the fill sequence, whether water has pushed this material in or whether people have dumped material into it in the past to fill it up. So let's go and have a look at what we've found today. Here we have a piece of struck flint. This is called a core. So we can see on this piece of flint where it's been struck in the Bronze Age to create sharp flint implements. This was then used as scraping tools and so forth. This is a very typical find of what we've been getting at Fornham, and struck flint will make up over 50% of the finds that we have on this site. So here you can see the cobbles. These were laid down and collected from around the area, and this is to stop people from slipping on the slippery clay when they're gathering the water from the wells below. Here we have one of the several small water holding troughs that are located around the side of the burnt mound. These are for storing the water and heating the water. Once the water is taken out of the main well complex and placed into here, it is then sealed in with the clay in the natural deposits around. That water is then heated by placing small stones and flint into it, which has been heated up by the bonfire. This is 100% excavated, so it would have previously been full of very charcoal rich black material. That material we placed in sample buckets so we can take it back, process it, and then see how much charcoal and heat altered flint is within that sample. We're now in the final stages of excavation of the burnt mound in Marham Park. As you can see behind me, we are now excavating 100% of the features that we've seen inside of the burnt mound. Here you can see the section of the main well located within the burnt mound. As you can see, there's multiple colours of fills coming down into this feature. We've had to excavate it in two parts due to the depth to make it safe working height. We initially excavated the first metre out of this feature and recorded the section. We've then removed that metre you can see in the distance and now carried on the section further down to find the base of the feature. So this is a section that we've excavated in the main well. We've still got a little bit of material to take out in this area here and this area here, and we can tell the difference between the material that we need to take out and the material that was dug into due to its colour and compaction. As you can see, this bit here that I'm standing on is a lot lighter in colour and it's far more compact and it's not holding any water. That tells us that this material hasn't been disturbed by man. So we've excavated a section through the fills of this feature itself as it's been cut into the ground. So we can see an initial fill down here. Got very large stones, a lot of chalk in it. These large stones are what we call tumble. They come in from the sides as weathering occurs. This is most likely lump fill here of slump, redeposited natural from the sides as it's weathered. Above that we have this thin deposit of silty sand, and this is most likely wind-blown deposit while it's been dry and it's blown in from the surrounding areas. Above that again you can see another chalk flecked fill here. Again, the same sort of process has occurred as the lower fill. Weathering of the sides, generally water in this case, would have then collapsed the sides in and weathered more into it. And then just above you can see what's left of a small dark band of material which was over 1 metre thick, and this is most likely a deliberate backfill when the feature is no longer being used and they're actually filling up the hole with rubbish. In this we had the most amount of finds, which is quite normal in archaeology when you get dump deposits. So we had a lot of animal bone, struck flint and some pottery out of this as well. Hi, welcome to Land Northwest, also known as Marham Park in Fornham. So we're doing a second phase and the final phase of archaeological works here. It's been stripped for about 2 months or so, and now we've just begun excavation. As you can see, to our left and to our right, the site is about 5 hectares in size so far, and we're not looking to extend it anymore. We've found a range of archaeological features here in keeping with our first phase. At the moment we are standing in the middle of a Bronze Age droveway, and as you can see, the blue flags running either side are marking out the archaeological features that we've seen on the site as we're stripping. This dates to about 5,000 years, and we're now sort of progressing, excavating through the site as we're going. Unfortunately, this time we cannot do the site tour due to mostly there's too much building going on site and it's not safe to bring people on. So we're going to do video diary for you and show you all the interesting finds that we have throughout our excavations here. So what we'll do is we'll go over and see one of the staff members that are currently digging on site and ask her some questions about what she's looking at. Okay, we'll head over. So this is Romy, currently digging one of our features on site, and I'll hand over to her.
Hello, so I'm digging a ditch slot. So we can tell there's a ditch here because the fill is a slightly darker colour to the surrounding kind of yellowy, chalky natural. So we're digging this slot here to try and find any dating evidence and also to tell the profile, the shape of the ditch. So we know that this is kind of late Iron Age, early Roman from the finds that we've had from other slots along the length of it. So when I finish digging this, we'll record it so it goes into the archive, which involves photographing and drawing sections and contact sheets. That'll be about it, and then I'll move on to the next one.
So, thank you very much, Romy, and that concludes our first little look at the site, and we'll carry on doing video blogs and show you all of the interesting things that we find on this project. Right, today we're going to go over and see what Romy's looking at on site.
Hello, so today on site I am digging one Bronze Age pit which is part of a cluster of other Bronze Age pits here.
So Romy, how do you know that this is a Bronze Age feature and not anything else?
Okay, so we date features from the finds that we find out of them. So out of this one I've gotten a nice couple pieces of pot. So these are what we call typical beaker pottery, and we can tell that from the decoration and the fabric of the material as well.
How come you've only dug out half of what we can see here?
So we only dig out half so that we can get a profile. We do this so that we can see what shape it was when it was originally dug and the fills that have built up inside it since it's been stopped use.
So, are you going to do anything more to this feature now?
Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm taking out the other half. We do this for finds retrieval so that we can get even more finds to securely date it. And I'm also taking an environmental sample. So these environmental samples will go back to our warehouse where they'll be processed for things like seeds and charcoal, so we can get even more information from these features.
Oh, that's lovely, thank you, Romy. One last question. Why is it so small?
So you have to think about back in the Bronze Age, the ground surface would have been a lot higher than it is now. We've had plenty of ploughing and other activities going on since then, so it would originally have been up here near my chest height, and it would have been a lot larger round as well.
Right, so we only have the very bottom of the feature here. Yeah, so these sort of Bronze Age pits would have most likely been used for either waste disposal or storage, the same as a lot of the Iron Age pits and so forth that we've also seen on our previous phases. That sort of concludes our instalment here. Thank you very much. Hi, welcome back to Fornham. Today we're going to go and have a look at Josh and see what he's looking at.
Hi, I'm currently excavating a Bronze Age cremation just down here.
So why are you excavating it like you are?
Well, we're currently block lifting, and this is so that we can preserve as much of the vessel and cremation as possible. We'll block lift it here on site, and then we'll take it back to the office and where it'll be excavated under laboratory conditions to make sure we get as much as possible.
Okay, so how do you know that this is a Bronze Age cremation vessel?
Well, firstly we know it's a cremation because we find bone and charcoal among it, and then we know it's Bronze Age primarily due to the fabric that we've just exposed on the side, the pottery.
Thank you very much, Josh. It's really interesting. Hi, we're going to go over and see what John is looking at today. Hi John.
Alright.
What are you looking at?
I'm just looking at this drawing I've been doing. We've been surveying in the plan for this roundhouse. So right here you can see I've been doing the section and the plan drawings, and we've done an overall plan of the whole thing, which you can see here. There's the roundhouse. So there you go.
So how do you know that this is a roundhouse then?
You can tell it's a roundhouse because it's essentially, quite simply, a house formation made out of round post holes, and you can see each individual one, which makes up this general shape of a roundhouse.
Do you have any idea of how old this roundhouse is?
We think that it's probably Bronze Age, and that's because we've had a lot of flint come out and a few bits of Bronze Age pot, which would obviously make you think that that's where it dates from.
Thank you very much, John. I'll see you another time. Hi, welcome back. Today we're with Andy here and seeing what he's looking at today. Hi Andy.
Hi Mike.
So, what are you looking at today?
Today I'm just cleaning up and finishing off an Iron Age ditch terminal.
Alright, so this is the end of the ditch as it comes round. Have you found anything interesting in it?
I have indeed. We have here, possibly, a Bronze Age arrowhead. You can see this worked area here, where it's probably for hafting onto the haft of the arrow, like so. And it's just been worked down this edge. This edge obviously was quite sharp enough for their purposes.
Lovely. How do you know this is an Iron Age ditch rather than a medieval ditch or anything else?
Well, as I've been going down through the fields, we've been picking out quite a lot of Iron Age pottery, as you can see here.
Lovely, that's really interesting. Thanks very much, Andy.
A pleasure.
Well, we're going to try and put up the mast today, see how it works. For the time-lapse photography, it's a bit of an experiment, so we'll see how it goes really. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. That's that done. So
Excellent.
see how it goes.
Welcome back to the excavations at Marham Park. We're now onto our final phase, our second burnt mound. So at the moment we've been working on it for a couple of weeks and we've removed most of the wash overburden that's on top, as you can see over here. We've revealed a metal surface underneath the material that we've removed, and we're also looking into a possible well and pit complex in the central area. We're also capturing all of our works for this burnt mound on the time-lapse camera above me. So go over and see Sam and see what he's uncovered today. Okay Sam, what have you uncovered here?
Okay, so we've taken the hard layer off the top of these two, the sort of half section here, and what we originally thought was going to be maybe one or two larger pits, it's actually probably going to be a number of smaller pits. So we've got one here, and then we've got one in the more central region of the section. So we're going to sort of clean back all of this hard layer so that it's all clear so we can see what's going on, and hopefully that should sort of space out the area and sort of make it a bit more clear about what's going on. But the concept of what we've got has changed from last week, when we thought it was going to be similar to the other burnt hollows that we had, with sort of one or two larger pits. It's probably going to be a bit different with smaller pits all surrounding the area.
Thank you very much, Sam. We've now finished on site completely, so all the information that we've gathered has now come into the office and we're now unpacking and data inputting. So the finds that we have here are currently being processed so that specialists can look at them and tell us more dating information, and our drawings and our handwritten context sheets are then all input onto the computer. This is so we can create an archive so the information can be stored for future reference. This also all helps writing of the report. So what you'll be able to see is on our film that's also being shown on this open day, we have full excavation of the burnt mound. This is why we're missing one dig diary at the end, just so that we can do all of that all in the professional film that you'll be able to see on this open day. So this then basically concludes all of our site work. Now we run into what this is called, which is post-excavation work, and then all the information should all be ready for this open day.